Finding God's Life from My Will by Mike Donehey. Chapter 3 When Dreams Die. Just 2 weeks before my 18th birthday, I was thrown from a car going 50 miles an hour. Wait, I should clarify. I wasn't thrown out, like by the mob or something. I was ejected. The car flipped. My body was thrown from the vehicle, and I hurled through the air in perfect accordance with the laws of physics. The accident happened as most accidents do, unexpectedly, with only a few expletives from my friend's mouth and the accompanying symphony of screeching tires. The three of us, Johnny Rios, Sam Deal, and I, found ourselves airborne. We were supposed to be on our way to school that morning, but as you might have guessed, we never made it. The morning air was as crisp and clean with the first few hints of fall. Our minds were alive with senioritis, whirring with the excitement and expectancy of our final year of high school. I guess you could say it was an otherwise perfect mid-September morning. At least it was until the front wheel of the two-door Honda CRX we had borrowed from our classmate Kevin caught the edge of the pavement on Mine Road. We skidded violently sideways, and any other plans we had made for our senior year were changed indefinitely. I didn't have my seatbelt on. Witnesses said the car somersaulted through the air some 5 or 6 times before finally coming to rest in an elderly woman's lawn. I will have to trust the report on this because I don't remember much of it. My best friend Johnny, who was driving the car, tells me he heaved himself out of the driver's side window once the car finally came to rest. He spun around a few times trying to locate me. Just then, Sam, who had been sitting hunched up illegally in the car's hatchback when we ran off the road, ran up to Johnny without a scratch on him. Apparently, the trunk swung open while the car fishtailed off the road, and he was flung out as well, rolling only once on the ground before finding himself standing upright in the middle of the road. He pointed Johnny to my bloody body lying motionless on the pavement a few hundred feet away. Johnny ran to me and was relieved to hear me moaning as he approached. Then he saw my face and was not so relieved. My face had been torn apart and blood poured from the gashes. The asphalt was quickly reddening around me. People try to tell you what near-death experiences are like, and of course, the accountants always fall short. Out of body is an apt description, I would say. That's how I felt. Now, I'd like to tell you I saw my grandpa chilling at the pearly gates with St. Peter, but no such luck. My experience was more like watching myself on an episode of ER. I remember the car slamming into a mailbox and the entire windshield violently shattering in a moment. It all happened so fast, I didn't even have time to panic. All I saw when I closed my eyes was the mailbox, and I heard the sound of glass breaking. After that, it all went dark. The next thing I saw was the back of an ambulance. Had it been minutes? Hours? My eyes squinted open to see paramedics' faces hovering over me. They started hammering me with questions. What's your name? Mike? My answer was more of a question than a statement. I honestly wasn't quite sure. What month is it? My face contorted. Who was the president? I didn't know. Blackout. I opened my eyes to the perfect rhythm of fluorescent bulbs passing overhead in a hospital corridor. I thought I might have remembered moving from the ambulance because an image of the sky filled with birds kept flickering in and out of my mind as I counted lights above. 1, 2, 3. My stomach lurched as I felt the stretcher fly down the hall. Blackout. My vision came back slowly, this time as a gentle fade from black to my parents' haggard faces. They were huddled up next to me and they were crying. To this day, this is the first time I remember feeling afraid. There are moments you're used to your parents being brave for you. My parents' courage had run out. They handed me something in a cup. They were telling me to drink it. It will help the doctor see your insides, they said. I gulped it down. The room spun. Before I knew it, I was back under. Blackout. I woke to the soft pulsing tone of a heart monitor in my hospital room. Beep, beep, beep. The cadence was calming. My eyes focused in the dark room. I saw a digital clock reading 12:43. Is that AM or PM? Is that a clock or is it some sort of medical device? Where am I? A nurse walked in and I was suddenly aware of the crippling pain coursing through my body. I croaked out to him. Excuse me, can you turn me on my side? My back hurts so bad. I can't take it. He nodded and approached the bed. Instead of turning me, he reached up to the plastic bag hanging next to my bed. I felt the cold fire sweep through my arm where I could now see the IV attached. The morphine snaked its way across my chest and through my back. Blackout. A few days later, I finally came to for more than a few moments. Other family members and friends had begun visiting. The first full conversation I can recall is the one with my doctor. He nonchalantly explained to me how I had been flung from the car when it flipped. He said I hit my chest on the ground so hard the impact had fractured two of my vertebrae. My skull was also fractured on my right side where my ear had been ripped off. I remember frantically reaching for my ear as he smiled for the first time. He told me a plastic surgeon had been able to reattach it seamlessly. Your two friends who were in the car with you are both fine, he reassured me. Looks like you got the worst of it, but it sure was lucky how you were thrown out. He then proceeded to show me a picture of the car we were in. The roof of the car was crushed all the way down to your seat. If you had stayed in, you'd have been a goner. My face scrunched as I stared at the Polaroid. I should be dead? Well, I wouldn't say you should be dead, the doctor said. You obviously should be alive. The EMTs said you did die, actually. Flatlined 5 times on your way here is what they told me. He pointed to the ceiling and chuckled. Seems to me someone up there must want you around for you have to survive that. But, he mumbled, switching gears, looks like you'll be lying around for quite a while. I'd say at least 2 months on your back. You may be able to walk by then, but I wouldn't count on it. And oh, I'd rule out any dream of athletics if I were you. Most likely, indefinitely. My life up to that point was a constant flurry of activity. I ran from sport to sport, event to event, and rarely, if ever, stopped. I would often forget to eat because I was too busy living. If fear of missing out had been a meme back then, I could have been the poster child. Being told I would probably never run again was like being handed a death sentence. The room caved in. Sweat flooded my face. I may never run again. I spoke each word as slowly as I could, rolling them around in my mind, perhaps in an effort to rewind the tape and have the doctor change his prognosis. Yeah, but yesterday we thought you wouldn't last the night. Just this morning there were talks you'd never walk again. I'd be happy to be alive if I were you. Crazy you're still here at all. To be perfectly honest, I know I should have been astonishingly grateful to be alive at that moment, but I wasn't. I wasn't happy at all. I was angry. I mean, why would I be saved from something like that only to be told my life would never be as good as it once was? What 17-year-old has time to appreciate what they have when everything else has been taken away? The questions bombarded me from every angle. Why weren't my friends hurt? Why was I the only one lying there with my face torn off? If God could save me from death, why couldn't he save me from injury? Was he up in heaven explaining, well, there's a difference between mostly dead and all dead? I absolutely couldn't see even a sliver of hope at the time. After my week-long stint in the ICU, I was released to go home. There, I was confined to my bed and sentenced to death by stillness. Or so it seemed. Apparently, the only way for my compression fractures to heal was to lie motionless on my back and stare at my bedroom ceiling. You need to understand, even though I'm quite sure I'm an Enneagram Type 4, I come across to many as a classic Type 7, high-spirited, enthusiastic, spontaneous, and energetic. To me, being stationary and confined to bed felt like nothing short of purgatory. In all, I lay there for 6 long weeks, waiting and waiting for my bones to heal. But during those 6 weeks, not only was I smothered under a cloud of depression, but I was also blanketed by boredom. I was crazy bored, as in talking to my little brother's stuffed animals bored. What happened next was the planting of a future miracle. Yes, it was already a miracle I was alive, but I wouldn't recognize this other miracle as such until years later. I asked for a guitar. I know that sounds like a strange detour in the story, and it probably doesn't sound much like a miracle, but trust me when I say it would one day produce another shift in the course of my life. Asking for a guitar didn't feel like any sort of monumental decision. It was simply a way to pass the time and not go insane doing it. Little did I know, as one dream died, another was beginning to push its way through the dirt. My parents obliged and bought me an acoustic Seagull guitar. I was overjoyed. And terrible, I might add. Ask any of my classmates from high school and they'll tell you. I still remember the confused looks on my friends' faces at our 10-year reunion. You're doing what now? But you were so bad. When I first tried to play the bar chords, it sounded like cats dying, slowly and painfully. Later in the year, while practicing in a corner of the gym, I was actually asked to stop by the coach of the girls' basketball team. The team can't concentrate with you making noises like that. It's wrong and ungodly. You should be ashamed of yourself. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul. Okay, he didn't say all that, but it was close. I was terrible at playing guitar, no question, but at least I wasn't bored. I'd rather be terrible and entertained than have my mind be unoccupied. The guitar had finally given me something to do. I had a purpose. A beginner $300 Canadian guitar saved me from despondency, and it would actually go on to shape the trajectory of the rest of my life. Never in a million years would I have thought a piece of wood and 6 strings could change the course of my future, but it did. For the next few months after my close brush with death, I sat on my bed day after day and slowly worked my way through the chord sheets and song charts. My bones grew strong, but my heart grew stronger. Learning to play guitar shifted my heart from despair to dedication, and it slowly taught my soul how to rest in the process. By Christmas time, I was back up on my feet and running around again. Shockingly, I proved my doctor wrong and played basketball on my high school team that year. But sports were no longer my first and only love. Music had come and met me when I needed healing most. It would be almost 15 years later that I would write the words, I want to know a song can rise from the ashes of a broken life. But that is literally what happened to me. I know now that God is unbelievably, wondrously, unknowingly patient, and His grace, through strong, true, and unstoppable, can also work in slow, mendering, and even painfully mysterious ways. Breaking my back that fall day in September was the event that would eventually lead me to signing a record deal and one day singing all over the world. Crazy. I just have to shake my head as I write this, because sometimes the greatest things in our lives are born from the worst. Sometimes the moments of greatest tragedy are the exact moments when something beautiful is being born. And sometimes the only thing keeping us from God's dreams for our lives is our unwillingness to let go of how we thought our own dreams should go. Thanks for reading along with me. See you guys soon.